Welcome to Werezilla's Retrospective. I'm your host, Werezilla. No matter who you are, everyone has been affected by Toy Story. Not only is it one of Pixar's earliest and most successful movies, not only does it avert the stereotype that movies get worse with each sequel, but it's also the perfect example of a series that grows with its audience. After all, much of the target audience was Andy's age when the first movie came out, and was going into college or close to it by the third one. I know I was, and the movies reflected this. Another thing that helps is that the real-life toys were made because of the movie, as opposed to the other way around, like many other series abide by. Now, obviously, that's not the case in-universe. We saw that much with Woody in the second film. And this is especially true as far as Buzz Lightyear is concerned. Established very early on, Buzz had his own franchise within the context of Toy Story itself. Though it wasn't until shortly after the second movie was released when they decided to take this fictional universe and release a real-life Buzz Lightyear show. Of course, before the show aired, we had the direct-to-video special, Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, The Adventure Begins, to serve as its movie pilot. After a brief prologue involving the Toy Story characters sitting down to watch the video itself, I just put this tape in, and the characters on the tape are watching the same tape that the viewers are also watching. Please tell me that wasn't the metameter exploding. Figures. We open with Buzz and fellow Space Ranger Warp Dark Matter already on a mission in search for missing little green men. Buzz is, of course, quick to jump to conclusions.
This diabolical plot can only be the work of the sworn enemy of the Galactic Alliance, evil Emperor Zurg.
What plot? You think Zurg is behind every kitten stuck up a tree?
The fiend. Why can't he leave kitty cats out of his nefarious schemes?
'Cause I'm evil.
Of course, he turns out to be right, as Zurg really did kidnap the LGMs. Buzz and Warp manage to rescue them, but Zurg blows up the facility, killing Warp in the process. After Buzz holds a eulogy for him at, Deep Space Nine, we meet Zurg's newest minion, Agent Z.
That's stupid.
You know he really likes that name.
Yes, he's been saving it for a very evil henchman.
Agent Z, love it. Especially the whole Z thing.
Though Zurg is not the only one with a new member. Buzz's boss, Commander Nebula, is insistent on new recruit Mira becoming Buzz's new partner. But Buzz is still hung up over what happened to Warp and refuses to let anyone get in harm's way.
So you're gonna stop Zurg all by yourself?
That's the general plan.
But regulations clearly state that—
I know regulations. I wrote half of them.
Fair enough, if the Penguins aren't going to listen to her ideas, why should Buzz? It seems the LGMs working for Star Command have the same idea, as they create a robot sidekick for Buzz called XR. Meanwhile, we learn of Zurg's reason for kidnapping the LGMs, to get information about the unimind, a giant glowing orb that links all LGMs together. The fact that the plan is being reiterated to him isn't something he really cares for.
You're telling me my plan. I already know my plan. I made up the plan. It's my plan. What I don't know is how close you are to accomplishing my plan!
Yeah, kind of an outdoor voice there.
He's an evil galactic overlord. Were you really expecting anything else? Agent Z leads an attack on the LGM's homeworld to steal the unimind, as you can clearly tell by the captions. Buzz manages to fight him off, but he still manages to get the unimind and damage XR. The LGMs try to fix it despite no longer being linked. To say they struggle is an understatement.
Those little green guys had the right stuff. Then came the wrong stuff. Their selection of auxiliary gear was obviously non-regulation. But perhaps there was a method to their madness. Maybe, just maybe. No, they had lost it.
Needless to say, XR is, reassigned to work with Booster the janitor. But that doesn't stop them from playing around in Buzz's rocket. Wait, what's that XR's reading? Anyway, Zurg corrupts the unimind just by touching it, and has a massive gun built so that he can turn everyone in the galaxy as evil as him.
Did you make sure that the plus end went to the plus part and the minus end went to the minus part?
So, that would do it, huh?
Really? Were Ganon's minions being a bunch of boobs not enough? Mira manages to snatch Star Command's one-man vessel from Buzz, even using her phasing powers to squeeze his brain in order to knock him out. That's how Sue Dibney was killed in Identity Crisis, and was used as a method of torture in Cry for Justice. You laughing at this scene now? Buzz does manage to get Mira and the ship back, at which point they find Booster and XR still on board his ship. This was actually most fortunate for our heroes, as by the time they return to DS9, Zurg has already used the unimind to turn all of Star Command evil, leaving them the only ones who can still take on Zurg. Not quite the Enterprise is the only ship in range cliché, but close enough. Buzz and the others arrive at Zurg's base of operations, but then Buzz orders everyone to go. Well, then why didn't you drop them off somewhere else before coming to Planet Z? Buzz reaches the cannon and fights Agent Z, who then takes off his helmet, revealing he's actually Warp.
Of course. Amnesia.
No.
Evil clone.
No.
Android replica.
No.
Okay. It's so obvious. Zurg's mind control ray. He got to you first.
Actually, I went to him. Evil is just so much more profitable than good and more fun.
I don't believe it. The warped dark matter I trained side by side with would not work for the most evil force in the universe.
Look, Lightyear. I've been on Zurg's payroll since the Academy. Once I got the LGMs to spill the secret of the Unimind, the Big Z brought me on full-time. My name's Dark Matter. Who's surprised here?
One of Star Command's finest. The perfect spy. I gave you a really nice eulogy.
He was not only a great ranger, but a great friend. What a hoot! If only you knew!
I miss him very much.
Oh, one more time!
I miss him very much.
Miss him now?
Zurg decides to use the unimind to turn Buzz evil, but before he does, he lets Buzz make one last mission log. This gets picked up by Mira and the others, giving them the incentive to return and save Buzz in the nick of time. Though it probably would have been more effective if they came back on their own fruition. Would have made their rescue much more satisfying and exemplified the good nature of these three. Oh, and Booster defeats Warp by sitting on him. Worked for Poe, I guess. Oh, and despite our heroes managing to surround Zurg, the cannon is able to fire one last time, effectively making every planet in the galaxy under Zurg's control.
You failed, Lightyear! With that final blast, I had enslaved every free world in the Galactic Alliance! Wherever you go in the universe, you will hear my voice mocking you! Evil rules!
Zurg, and his voice actor for that matter, are really enjoying themselves, aren't they? Buzz remembers how Zurg turned the Unimind evil in the first place, so Mira phases Buzz into the Unimind to try to turn it back to normal. That's probably a good way to turn evil, but fortunately it works as Buzz intended, turning the Unimind and everyone else back to normal.
I hope the Unimind still works for you guys.
We are one. Our mind link has been restored. All is as it was. To infinity and beyond!
Show of hands, how many of you were expecting them to say,
You have saved our lives. We are eternally grateful.
"Don't lie to me, because if you do, I will know." So Buzz decides to accept all three of our heroes as part of his team. Also, they just flew off into space while this awards ceremony was going on. How rude. Well, if this was the kind of thing kids like Andy got to see, I can see why they made this into a real thing. That and Pizza Planet. This is a pretty good start to what would be one of Disney's better shows. The animation is pretty good, it plays with the conventions of the space saga, and its voice actor's delivery is what makes it funny. Not that the location captions won't give you a laugh. Seeing Buzz's over-the-top heroics and Zurg's similarly cheesy evil is something you're really gonna want to see for the long run. Now, as far as the rest of Team Lightyear, and Warp for that matter, are concerned, it's a mixed bag. Mira, Booster, and XR all got their moments to show heroic material, but like I said, they should have just gone to help Buzz at the end defying orders. That's what stopped them from turning evil in the first place, after all. And Warp was actually more of a threat here than he was in the show. Because aren't they always?
A Buzz Lightyear movie.
What do you know? You don't look so fat when they draw you that
By the
way.
sound of things, my own toys have gotten a similar idea of watching a movie.
Buzz, we're not gonna watch the whole thing. We just want to see all the commercials
No.
in the beginning. What?
He's kidding, Rex.
When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old past said. Boy, you got a friend in